A concept that's been buzzing around churches and Christian conferences for years. The 7 mountains of influence. Depending on who you ask, it's either divine strategy or Christian power play. But here's the real question. What does it have to do with us right now in a world run by algorithms and influencers? So, what are these mountains? The idea is this. There are 7 key areas that shape any society. If you want to impact culture, you don't start in the pew, you start on the peaks. Here they are. 1. Religion, the church, faith movements, spirituality. 2. Family, how homes are built, values passed down. 3. Education, what people learn and how they think. 4. Government, who makes the rules and enforces justice. 5. Media, who controls the narrative and spreads the news. 6. Arts and entertainment, what people sing, watch, and idolize. 7. Business, who controls the money and markets. Where did this come from? Back in 1975, Bill Bright and Lauren Cunningham felt God was showing them that if Christians really wanted to change the world, we had to show up outside the 4 walls of the church. Later on, Lance Wallnau helped make it famous again, especially in prophetic and marketplace circles. Why the 7 mountains of influence matter? As we look around today, it's clear that many leaders in technology, business, and media are reaching and influencing vast numbers of people. Some of them, whether intentionally or not, are shaping the values and worldview of entire generations. Their voices can sometimes seem to preach louder than some pastors, and their platforms may disciple more than Sunday school teachers. This is why we believe that as believers, it's time for us to engage with culture, technology, and influence. We are called to step into these spaces with grace and strategy, carrying the message of hope to the world. Our mission is not to retreat from the world, but to stand in the gap, blending faith with strategy for a kingdom purpose. If you're called to preach behind the pew, preach behind the pew. But if you're called to film, film with fire. If you're called to code, build something kingdom-worthy. If you're called to teach, teach truth in a world choking on lies. You don't have to wait for a pulpit. You are the pulpit. Every believer is called to preach the gospel not only in word, but also in life, and to hand over the apostles' doctrine to those being saved. The 7 mountains of influence are one of the channels God has given us to influence the world with the gospel. But we mustn't forget, our primary commitment is to the rudiments of the faith. Preaching the gospel one-on-one, praying together as believers, and living out the core teachings of the Christian walk. Take the story of King Saul and King David. Saul began as the first king, and though he faltered, God didn't abandon his plan. David became king after Saul, described as a man after God's own heart. This shows us that just because a strategy or leader fails doesn't mean the vision is flawed. God's will continues to unfold, and he still uses imperfect people and strategies to accomplish his purposes. So if we see a particular strategy or trend in the Christian world that doesn't go as planned, we don't throw it away. Instead, we look for the good, and like David, take the kingdom God has called us to. We redeem what might have been lost, and we bring forth the fullness of God's heart in that sphere. Which mountain are you called to? Drop it in the comments section. Subscribe to AI Witness for more content that reveals Christ in culture, tech, and truth.